I would love if we could do just this, just for me, is a top 3 commits. Just write 1, 2, 3, because my goal is for you to at least get 1 or 2 or 3 things out today. And if you can just email me those when you're done, like I have a pretty special gift for you in return. Because it's interesting, Rick Rushton will tell you, when you actually commit to what you write down, pretty amazing things happen, right, Rick? So just write this up. My email address is right on the screen. And I wanna take you to a very simple story, and the simple story is this. If I can do it, you can do it, and I want to tell you exactly what happened. About 6 years ago, we had invested in an agency, and the agency was not doing very well. It had about 45 agents in one office, and I had never been in the real estate business ever. I probably bought and sold a couple of homes, but I had no idea what an agent did. I had no idea how commissions worked. I had no idea about any idea. I had no idea about anything. But we'd invested in this business, and I said, wow, this business is going in the wrong direction. Is there an opportunity to do better? How many of you fell into the real estate business accidentally? I mean, look around. This is like 2/3 of the room, right? Pretty amazing. So the story I'm trying to tell you today is, if I can do it without any experience, I know you can too. So here's exactly how we started, right? How we started. 45 agents, one office, and we were doing roughly $280 million in sales. Not bad, not bad. But in a 5-year period, this is where we ended up. 585 agents, 22 offices, $3.6 billion closed, $5 billion run rate. Meaning we were doing $5 billion with what we have. So every agent was roughly doing $9.6 million in annual production. Right? Decent numbers, yes? I want to show you how we got there in a 5-year period. So it's 10x in 5 years. And let me actually tell you how this happened. There was no grand master plan. There was no grand master plan until we realized after what happened, and that's the story that I wanted to actually tell you about, what actually happened after. So let me walk you through it, and the goal here is for you to take at least 3 things away, because if you don't fill out those 3 things, I have not done my job today. Good? Here we go. I'm going to give you the best piece of advice I've ever heard. Stop building a business. If you want to grow something 10x, stop building a business. And you're thinking, what is he talking about? You got to start creating a mass movement. And I want to show you a slide that I was in front of in a presentation very similar to this that completely changed my life. And here's the slide. This is not mine. Here's the slide. This is not my slide. I learned this from someone else, and it is the 3 components of creating a mass movement. And I'll give you the slides, by the way. I'll give you the high res, but you take pictures and all that. The first and most important thing about creating a mass movement is having an attractive character lead. You are the attractive character in the room. Whether you're running a sales team, whether you're running a super team, whether you're a solo agent, whether you're a principal, whether you're a coach, it doesn't matter. Being the attractive character, it is what is going to create a mass movement. Without an attractive character, the mass movement does not exist. It is who we are. We gravitate towards people. Number 2, it's really funny. I was talking to Megan about this, and she's like, hey, is that a cult or a culture, right? But the similarities are very striking. These are the 3 things. Having a charismatic leader, basically the cause, why are you doing what you're doing, and the opportunity. So this is what it is. John Cunningham says, hey, John Cunningham is the attractive leader, attractive character. He says, we believe that we can do better as an industry. That is his cause. And his vehicle for change is his company. Right, John? This is you. This is you. And without these 3 pieces, it's very hard to put things together. How many of you believe right now that you have all these 3 pieces, or you can do something to get these 3 pieces? Raise your hand. So the capability exists, right? The capability exists. Anytime we're stuck, I would bring you back to this. If something is broken, I would bring you back to the attractive character. I would bring you back to the cause, and I would bring you back to the vehicle of change. All right. This is my favorite quote. I love it because I thought about it. I have no idea who said it. I'm going to just take attribution for it. True culture is built when you remind people of the past, but you keep them focused on a bigger and better future. True culture is built when you keep them focused. Remind them of the past. You want to know where they come from, but keep them focused on a bigger and better future. And so we've all talked about culture, right? So how many of you believe you hear the word culture a lot? Please, raise your hands, culture a lot. How many of you sometimes think, what does that mean? What does that mean? And I know it means something different to each one of us, right? Would that be fair to say? I want to break down the 7 microcultures very specifically that created the fastest growing real estate company in California. So the entire thing we're going to talk about today are these 7 cultures and the actual implementation around, and the actual implementation around these 7 cultures. I'll actually give you all of 7. Here's the first one, the culture of extreme fierce focus. As an organization, for us to grow, how many of you actually are actively thinking about growing and bringing new agents on to help build and grow your agency? How many of you? Okay, the entire room, all right? So we believe that there was no way we're going to go from $280 million in sales to $3.3 billion or $5 billion in sales if we didn't have agents. There was no other way. And we built it all organically. We didn't acquire any company. We built it all organically 5 years. So we changed the entire culture. Can you hear me fine? Okay. We changed the entire culture to be a culture of recruiting great people. And I want to show you specifically how we recruited great people, all right? I'm going to say, this is Megan and I love this. Robin Sharma is one of my favorite people, and this is a great quote. It says, every distraction is costing you a fortune. So if our goal is to say, we need to bring on highly productive agents so we can grow our business, everything else is irrelevant. We need to bring on more properties under management, everything else is irrelevant. We end up doing all these other things, and we forget what is really, truly important. Every distraction is costing you a fortune. So I'm gonna deconstruct what I call the daily huddle, all right? Every single morning, here's how we recruited. Would you like me to tell you exactly how we recruited? We had 10 sales managers out of our 22 offices. And their entire job was to set appointments, and I'll walk you through the process, set appointments, because we believe in our business there's only 2 things. You get appointments and you get contracts. That's real estate for you, right? Get a bunch of appointments, the appointment lead to a bunch of contracts, you make a bunch of money. That's all it is. Like, don't overcomplicate this, right? Same thing for recruiting. You get a bunch of recruits, you make a bunch of offers. That's it. So without appointments, we wouldn't get anywhere. So we had some accountability around getting appointments. And here's what we did. Every morning from 9:30 to 9:45, 15 minutes every single morning. And this was the daily huddle. All the 10 managers, sales managers would get on a call. And each of them had a specific order. You'll think this is very militant, but let me tell you the reason for this. Each of them had a specific order. And all they would say is this. This was the format. Yesterday I got 3 appointments. Today I'm committed to getting 2. Next person. Yesterday I got 4 appointments. Today I'm committed to getting 1. Yesterday I got 0 appointments. Today I'm committed to getting, well, they can't say 0. Do you see where I'm going with this? Yesterday, that's all they said. And let's say Stephanie was next on the list and she was not present on the call, we would just wait. It would be dead silence. Imagine the call. Person goes, Stephanie's turn, she's not on, we just wait. We take a moment. She's never not on. You might think that's crazy, but for 15 minutes a day, I think we all can commit to 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes a day. What did I do yesterday? What am I committed to doing today? I will tell you just that 15 minutes every single day was the cornerstone of us having great recruiting. Can you imagine in your business if you had your entire management team get on a 15-minute call and said, here's what I did yesterday and here's what I'm committed to doing today? Wouldn't that change the entire face of your business? It seems so small, but it would change everything. But here's the best part. My COO, who's very analytical, did this. He actually had this is Trello. How many of you seen Trello? It's just a swim lane, and let me see if my pointer works. So it's essentially, hey, I got a bunch of candidates. I'm going to set up a call with these candidates. I'm pursuing these candidates. I made an offer to these candidates. I'm onboarding these candidates. That's it. He would pull up the board, and he'd say, all right. And as people will tell them what they're doing, he'll just write it up. So we always knew, I think this is not hard, right? This is not complex, but this is all we did. We ran our entire company this way. I redid this for you to see, but this way you know who your candidates are, where they're in the process, what you did as you're pursuing them. This is all we did. Now, how many of you are selling real estate right now? Okay, can we not overcomplicate this? Here are my prospects. I'm trying to set up a call. I'm trying to get a meeting. Oh my gosh, I got them under contract. Yep, they're a client. This is not hard. But imagine waking up every morning and looking at a pipeline. This is just your pipeline report. That's all this is. But when you combine the daily 15-minute call with the pipeline, now you have accountability and your artifact. That's when it really starts to get exciting. Good? Helpful? This was just, I will tell you, this and this alone kept every single person extremely motivated, right? Because everyone had deep accountability in the process. Now, there was no time when someone could say, oh, I made 0 appointments today, and I'm committed to making 0 appointments tomorrow. Like, no one can do that because you're tracking the numbers, right? So you actually start to do the activities that drive good results. Yes? Good? Give me like some nods. Okay, awesome. I want to tell you something that then, so this was in the morning at 9:30 in the morning. In the evenings, at 5 o'clock at the end of the day, all managers would send what we call the 1, 2, 3. Very simple. This is accountability at the end of the day. And you may think, oh my gosh, this is a lot of work. This is not a lot of work if you build it into the cadence of what you do. This is what they had to do. They had to do, hey, who was the new person that they spoke with? Who were the two follow-ups that they did? And who are the 3 agents that they talked to inside the company that they delighted and connected with today? So for example, if I talked to Rick Rushton, the new agent, I would say, Rick. My second would be I followed up with Megan and Stephanie. And the third, I would say I talked to Michael, Shane, and Shane. And they would send it to everybody everybody on the leadership team. Imagine between 5 p.m. and 5:30 p.m., everybody hitting reply all and watching the energy happen. If you have 3 people recruiting or just your management team, imagine the culture that is built of all the effort that's being shared. Now, if you're a sales agent, same exact thing. What is the one new person I talked to? Who are the 2 new people I followed up with? And who are the 3 active clients that I actually managed through the process? You're staying with that every single day. And when you have a team, a super team, a group of agents, just imagine the daily accountability that happens around this. This is all you have to do. There is nothing else. Like, technically, you can be done right now. You can leave, right? Because you get your morning 15 minutes and your evening email. This is how we bookended our recruiting. How many of you may consider doing something like this in your business? Okay, good. Michael, I got some take-home value, right? Keep going. Everybody will tell me this. Oh my gosh, Sharon, we're so busy. We're managing deals. We're coaching agents. I got this seller fire to put out. I got this to do. I got that to do. We all get busy, right? So at our companies, we had this policy. You set the mornings aside for opportunities. You set the afternoons aside for operations. No one can tell me any different. In the mornings, we do opportunities because you're fresh. In the afternoons, you do operations. Hey, we all have to do admin and operations. Like, there is no way you have to respond to email, you have to respond to phone calls, you have to do admin stuff, yes? Yes or yes? But we don't want to let our admin stuff get in the way of our opportunities. So just bucket your day. In the morning, I do opportunities. In the afternoon, I do operations. Our teams do not do operations in the morning unless they're customer service. They don't. That forces you to at least dedicate 50% of your time to building your pipeline, to building growth, and there is no excuse. So if you're an active sales agent right now, you should be thinking, okay, how can I actually set up my mornings for growth? And if you have 3 admin things to do, you just have to push that to the afternoon. I'm just asking you to bucket your day because it completely changes how you prioritize. John, you have a great way of prioritizing different things in what you do in your day, but managers will just tell me, oh, I got all these deal doctoring things to do. I'm like, I appreciate that, but mornings are opportunities, right? Mornings are opportunities because when you get to the afternoons, you get tired, you get slow, etc. Good? Okay, keep going. Number 2, the second culture, the culture of synchronized vocabulary. The first one was culture of fierce focus. The second was a culture of synchronized vocabulary. Imagine if your entire team, I learned this from Michael and Shane, on how synchronized their language patterns are. Because every time you talk to them, you feel warm, you feel protected, you feel inspired, because they're so thoughtful about what they say every single time. Wouldn't you agree? They're so thoughtful. And that comes from being very, very intentional, being by design. And how many of you have heard these words, recruiting and retention? Like, put your hands up. Can I tell you there can't be worse words in our business? Retention. Like, think about it. Hey, it's like, I got you in the company. I'm going to headlock you. I'm going to make you stay as long as possible. Retention is terrible, right? The connotation itself is terrible. Retention is like, oh my gosh, I got to take Steen to lunch because, it's just like, I got to retain him. That's terrible, right? Think of different words that will change the way you think. We were not allowed to use recruiting and retention. We changed it to attracting and connection, right? You want to attract people to your brand. You attract people to your culture. You want to, because when you attract great people, they connect with who you are, and it's not a recruiting sales pitch anymore. It's not, yes, the function is recruitment, I get it. But connection, people stay because of connection. People stay because they're connected to who you are, the values that you have. Retention is language is really, really powerful. The language shapes our world. If there are words that are just part of the industry, we have to change them so that they blend into the culture of who we are. Retention, I will tell you right now, just if you did nothing else, just stop using the word retention. It's so sad. Like, we should never use it ever again. It doesn't give the people in our organization the respect that they truly deserve for what they do for us. As you can tell, this means a lot to me, right? Connection is way more important. Does that kind of strike a bell, ring a chord? You know, can you tell that we use the words that were just handed down to us from time to time, and we don't need to. This is how we recruited. I would say the first question we would ask is, many of us just have DNA, right? We just say, are they Cunningham's DNA? Are they Ray White DNA? You know, are they Gary Peer DNA? I don't know your DNA, but I would ask our managers the first question: is she TELUS DNA? Tell us what's the conversation. Is she TELUS DNA? If she said no, I don't even care. I don't care. It's super hard to build people into your culture that even though they're great producers, it is just super hard. I will tell you right now, the worst thing you can do is bring someone into your company that DNA is not right, Megan? The worst thing you can do. First question, is she TELUS DNA? Second question, is there a model match? The agents out in the world all have a very simple perspective on the world. And they say, I believe that, I want to be with a boutique. I want to be with a big franchise. I want to be with an independent. I want to have my own name on the shop. Different agents are of different ilks, and that's okay. But you want the right model match. If you can get the model match, it gets very exciting very quickly because they believe in the model, and then you never have to do retention anymore, because they just build and they're part of the model. You never have to retain anymore. I never had to take anybody to lunch because they were already bought into who we are. That gets really good. All right. I'm going to give you something. This was the actual script that every single sales manager used in the first meeting with the recruit. Okay? Let me read it to you. When you take at least 7 listings a year, and I want to break this down for you. When you take at least 7 listings a year, the TELUS platform can save you 1 day a week. What would you do with an extra 52 days a year? Now, there are a bunch of things that are happening here, right? It took me a while to write this. When you take at least 7 listings a year, what am I doing there? Qualifying, right? That's a baked-in qualification. It's very specific. And so if I say that, and the agent tells me, I only did 4 last year, what do I have the opportunity to do right now? I can coach. I'm like, you did 4 last year, why? And now can I actually get you to 8? Can I show you? I can show them. If they already did 7, they're like, what do you mean? I already did 7 and you're going to give me 52 days back a year? Now the answers generally are, how is that possible? Now I have to deal with the disbelief. So I can coach on disbelief. They can say, how can you do that? Like, there's so many things that need to get done. That's the operator. Now I have to show them process. Right? So when someone answers this question, you instantly know who they are, and you can actually coach to that. I have every single sales manager will ask this question, and based on the answer, they will actually walk them through the recruiting process. If you don't have an anchor question on recruiting, everyone is just flying by the seat of their pants. The anchor question actually is the gateway to your organization. There was nobody allowed to ask any other question because you never knew what else you would get. Is this helpful? So if I asked you, let's role play. If I asked you, how many of you do 7 listings a year at least? Give me raise your hand. Claudia, if I asked you, if I told you, if when you take 7 or more listings a year, the TELUS platform can save you 1 day a week, what would you do with an extra 52 days a year? Okay, this is good. So she would say go on holidays. What should I instantly be thinking? Yeah, I should be instantly thinking, this is interesting, right? So now that gives me a view into her personality. I don't have to talk to her about my brand anymore. I only have to talk to her about how the business works to continuously support her mission, her vision, her values of taking more family time off. Because she gave me the primary driver of what she is motivated by. Yes? Is that helpful? Who has a different answer? Who would give me a different answer to that question? Who would come on. You give me yes, sir. Mark, what would you do? Do more deals. This is really good. So now I know this is amazing, because if now he tells me, I'm like, I have 52 more days a year, I would do more deals. I instantly go to, here's a driver, wants to do more, now I can start coaching. So my next question would be, hey, where are your current deals coming from? And let's go with this, right? Where are your current deals coming from? Okay, good. So he's like, 80% of my deals come from my sphere and my referral network. Okay, that's interesting. You know what, Mark? I've noticed that in the top 50 agents in North America, all of them had at least 6 baked-in lead pillars. Right now, it looks like you have 2. Let's actually add 1 more. Do you currently have a geographic farm? Yeah, like now I can coach, right? Now I actually install new business pillars into what he's doing, and now the conversation is not about recruiting anymore. I am coaching him to the platform. I'm coaching him to the value. So he's going to leave and say, wow, like I can actually win more. I can actually grow more. I can actually be more, because he actually gave me another vehicle into making more money and 52 days off a year. Did you see where the conversation went? It's not about, look at how we're cool, look at how this franchise is better. It is now a coaching conversation, which is what Michael and Shane always talk about. You want to learn how to coach, right? Which is so, so powerful. Was that good? That good lead-in question? How many of you believe that this is a time where you may have to think about your lead-in question? Okay, awesome. Keep going. So then the agent will ask all the managers, well, so tell me, so you say this platform can save you 52 days a year, how? Right? You want to create this belief, right? How? And I say our platform only does 3 things. Our platform only does 3 things, and if it does not do one of these 3 things, we don't want to do it. And then I say our platform either generates leads, or it gives you a client advantage, or it makes you smarter and more efficient. If it doesn't do one of those 3 things, or hopefully all of those 3, we don't do it. And then I ask, I'm like, what is important to you? Oh, you want print marketing? That's cool, I appreciate that. Does it help you generate more leads? Awesome, we'll do it. But if you say, oh, I want to have glossy magazines, I'm like, if it doesn't help you generate a lead or a client advantage or make you smarter and more efficient, we're not going to do it. So now, I will never get any pushback from anybody on going off my DNA. That's why you never have to do retention anymore. So if someone asks you, what does your platform stand for? If you can't say my platform stands for these 3 things, then we're really stuck. Yes? How many of you can, if I asked you a question right now and say, what do you do? What is your service platform? Agent service platform. What does your agent service platform entail? If you can't give me our agent service platform entails 1, 2, 3, so we can do 4, 5, 6, we don't have it tight enough. Yes? Yes or yes? Okay. Is this helpful? Okay, keep going. So here's what I would do next. How many of you have recruited or tried recruiting an agent for more than 3 years? Like, don't lie, right? It's insane. It's insane. Right? We want to be the nice person. We keep having the coffees. We keep having the meetings. We keep having the lunches. Oh, how's it going, mate? I saw your sale going on. Isn't it, sir? We do it over and over and over and over and over. And you have this, and it's crazy if you're an agent and you're taking those meetings, dude, come on. It's like you're totally leading that person on. Like, it's okay. Just tell them I'm not ready right now or whatever. But here's the part. It is our responsibility as principals to lay out the process for how they join our company. It is not about just keeping on talking to them. I will tell you right now, it will crush you. It will crush you. For every 10 agents we interviewed, we made 2 offers. 2. But there was a very set process. So here's what our managers would do. First, they tell us DNA. Did they have a model match? They had an introductory meeting? Awesome. Here's the pitch. Hey, I'd love for you to come in and meet with Sharon. He has these 60 slides. It'll take you 60 minutes, and he'll teach you how to double your business, whether you join TELUS or not. Is that an offer? Is that an insane offer, right? Hey, you just have to come meet with Sharon. It's 60 slides, 60 minutes, and he'll show you how to double your business, whether you join TELUS or not. What is it? It's the takeaway close, right? It's like, no pressure, but regardless, you're going to get something out of it. I have a 100% success rate when they go through 60 slides. Guaranteed they sign. Guaranteed. You're going to ask me, like, can I have those 60 slides? You're totally thinking that. And so if you write me your 3 top takeaways and you send it to me, I will send you the 60 slides. How's that? Right? But the interesting part, the slides are not going to mean anything to you. You might have to change them up a little bit, okay? But I want to show you, it is just the artifact of these 60 slides because now I'm in the room, I'm with them, they're thinking, how is Sharran going to double my business? And I can learn and I can coach. You got to coach them to you, the culture, and the platform. There is no other way, right? And I use the word coach in a very holistic way, right, Michael? You use the word coach and you got to give them the leadership because at the end they're turning around and saying, how is Megan Jaffe thinking about me every single day? That is what you're trying to do, right? How many of you, if I told you, hey, it's 60 slides, it's 60 minutes, and they're going to show you how to double your business, and you were not thinking about meeting with me, you would consider it. Come on, you would consider it, right? I would get more meetings than I normally would. You just need an offer. Most of us don't have an offer, and the reason we don't have an offer is because we just keep doing coffee meetings, lunches, dinners, etc., and we take all these meetings with recruits, and they never go anywhere. But if you put them in a process, it gets very exciting very quickly. Good? Okay. Number 3, the culture of operational ownership. I want to share, this is where it gets super exciting. How many of you right now, as an agent or a principal, if you had to only choose one thing that you can do in your business and nothing else, you're able to choose? One thing. So my team would tell me, Sharran, you can only do growth, and if there's anything outside of growth, you have to hit forward. Not forward and, hey, Jim, can you handle this? No, forward. There's no niceties. There's no like, can you please help me with this? No, forward. It's not me. Everybody has their own lane, and if it's someone else's idea, someone else gets a growth email and comes to me, they hit forward. I don't need niceties. We've got to get into a culture where you get stuff in your lane, and you own your lane, and you only do your lane because there's this amazing quote, and I will tell you right now, the amazing quote. When you spend time working on your weaknesses, you end up with a bunch of really strong weaknesses. Right? It's amazing. And the most joyful things happen when you spend time. Hey, when you saw Rick on stage yesterday, like you knew he was in his zone, right? He had no idea what he was saying. Like he was in flow, but it was so fun. Everyone was enjoying themselves. And when he got down, he was like, was that good? And I'm like, dude, it was so good. It was so good. Because he was in flow and he was in a state of genius, and it was so great to watch him, do that. We need to figure out what that is for ourselves in our business. Good? 2 more things. So that was the zone of genius. The number one thing I believe that we struggle with, the number one thing that we struggle with while recruiting agents is this. We do all of this 3, 5, 10, 15, 3 years worth of meetings. We finally get them to say yes. They come on board. And then we're like, hey, sign this paper and good luck. Like, awesome. If you need anything, like, I'm here for you. We took the onboarding process extremely seriously because if you can create a really powerful first 30, 60, 90 days, the connection is so deep. Because I'll tell you this, everybody has buyer's remorse. Everyone is like, did I make the right decision? Should I have stayed? I spent 10 years at that firm. I made a switch. Like, I can't go back now. That would look, like people think about that. People think about that. But if you can bear hug the process, it gets really, really exciting. And I'll tell you all that we did. We just put a small team in place that was the onboarding team, and they only did onboarding. They did nothing else. So when I would sign an offer, I would actually call the onboarding team and say, hey, team, Jim's coming on. He's fantastic. Here are the economics. You got it? Awesome. Thanks. Click. Done. They would just roll out the red carpet. They would do whatever it takes because their job was to say, I'm going to manage this process, bear hug this process, bring you on board, make you feel so welcome, so connected. And the rest of the firm's operations did not have to be affected by that process, right? Because otherwise, we're pulling somebody else from operations in to help them on board. How many of you actually use a current team member whose current job is to do something else when someone comes on to onboard them? Don't lie. Okay, 70% of the room, right? But that we actually believe is the most functional, most important process, and we want to bear hug them. It's insane. And I'll tell you this one thing. If you can do this one thing, we call it the 1, 15, 30, 45, 60 touch. First day, I am not joking. You're going to think I'm crazy. First day, Michael Shergill comes on, right? I'm like, he comes on. Before the end of his first day, I do one text message, which is a video. Hey, Michael, it's Sharran. I just want to tell you, getting to know you over the last few years has been amazing. I cannot wait to support your business. Welcome. Welcome to TELUS. That's it. That's it. That's my first day. 15th day, my onboarding team reaches out to one of the partners and says, hey, Sharran, it's your turn to check in. 30th day, they reach out to the next partner. Hey, Jim, it's your turn to check in. 45th day, they reach into the next partner. Hey, Johnny, it's your turn to check in. 60th day, reach out to them. So in the first 60 days, every 15 days, someone has checked in with them from leadership in the process. And this is just managed by onboarding team. You don't have to do anything. I just get an email in the morning that says, hey, you have to check in with Rick today. It's his 15th day check-in. That's it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Rick, it's been 15 days. How's your... Can you imagine that? But then the 30th day happens, the 45th day happens, and the 60th day happens. I will tell you, so many issues get bubbled up during that time. Hey, everything's great, Sharon. I still don't have business cards. I'm like, you don't? I'm like, dude, hold on right now. I'll be right back. Dude, no business card. What are you doing? Right? Oh, hey, man, it's totally cool. You know, they actually printed with the wrong set of names. We're going to get you 2 sets of cards. Everything's cool. Other than that, how's it going, right? You actually have the ability to solve it. Otherwise, you would never know what happened. I would tell you just that our new agents coming on board, because we were bringing on, I mean, think about it, right? We went from 45 to 600. We're bringing on a lot of agents, and we wanted to make sure everybody felt part of it. I would have to do a lot of check-ins, but it's not hard when you make it a part of the process. Good? Okay. Is this like installable, practical, that you can take away and do something with? Okay, good. I told you about this yesterday. The $50 mandatory delight budget. Hand the operations team $50. You have to spend this week. I don't care who you spend this on. Make it amazing. And they're like, this is awesome. So now they go get to do whatever it takes to make it amazing for the agents, for whoever, right? The staff really, our teams really started to appreciate having small little, just creative freedom built into their schedule. Okay, good. I'm gonna get, this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part. I want to show you something that happened. It was an accidental, what I call this accidental epiphany. I was sharing this with Michael. So how many of you in the last 6 months have been on a listing presentation? Okay, very good. So we had my first maybe 2 years at the company. I'd never been in a living room. I had no idea. I had no idea. But I've been on Wall Street. I'd been in boardrooms. I had decent sales experience. One of the agents told me, hey, Sharon, I have a $50 million listing presentation in Beverly Hills. I have no idea what to do. And he's one of our top agents. I said, hey, let's prep. Let's go on this together. Right, so we prepped, and we went on the meeting together. And I have to tell you this. He was terrible. He was the #1 agent in our company. He was doing $350 million by himself with one assistant a year. By himself. He was terrible in the living room. And I asked him, how many of these appointments are you going on? He goes, oh, I roughly get 25% of the appointments that I go on. I was like, you're getting 25% and you're still doing $350 million? That is insane. So I decided that there's an opportunity. The opportunity is stuff happens behind closed doors that no one actually sees. Yes, you get coaching on business plan. Yes, someone helps you role play. But when you're inside the living room, no one's ever helped you. You have no idea. No one's ever had outside eyes on you. So here's what we did. Walk you through real numbers. In the first 18 months, I went on 161 listing appointments. We won 152 out of 161. That is a 94.5% success rate, close to $457 million in listings taken. Good? Okay, now, I was like, there's got to be a better way. In the next 5 months, we went on 87 more appointments, and we won all 87. 100% success rate, $544 million in listings taken. So in 23 months, we went on 248 listing appointments, cold. I don't know these people from Adam. I don't know these people. 96.3% success rate, over $1 billion in listings taken. It is amazing to me. This is when everything changed. This was the turning point of our entire company when I realized that we were doing because in America we have buyer representation, we get paid on buyer representation. We were doing 40% listings and 60% buyer representation because it was easier to take buyers around. I was like, this is insane. We could do so much better. So much better. So I took all the learnings from the listing appointment, all the learnings. Before every appointment we prepped, and Rick, you'll appreciate this. After every appointment, I wrote down every single question every single client ever asked us. I have 161 appointments worth of questions that clients have asked us. Every question. I would sit in the car and I would write down every question. Do you think there's a pattern? Based on that, we came up with 10 things that all sellers want to know. And we built our whole business around it. Whole business around it. We became the listing machine. We became the listing shop. It became known as, oh my gosh, you're going up against TELUS, you are going to lose. And so some of you are good at surfing. Some of you are good at drinking wine. Like, you cannot beat me in the living room. I will win every time. I say this because I've been in 248 of them. I know pricing discussions, I am 8 scripts deep. You can never win. No. This is hubris. You will never win. I'm too good. I suck at everything else. But this, I'm really good because I have all these questions. Would you like to know the flow? Okay, 4 people would like to know the flow. Michael, can I give them the flow? It's not hard. I will give you the 10-step flow of the $1 billion listing presentation. Yes? Good? Okay. Can you guys see?
So Sharon, I think what Sharon really needs is something like a bring it on. So in an Aussie style. So 1, 2, 3, guys.
Yeah. All right.
No. You meant to say bring it on. Come on. Let's do that again. So 1, 2, 3. Bring it on.
Awesome.
Here we go.
Okay. The $1 billion listing flow. Now this has worked in Canada. This has worked in the UK. I've done 1 Australian appointment on Skype. We won that too, right? Which is pretty cool. But it was mostly in the US, so but take this with a grain of salt. But the flow shouldn't change. The flow shouldn't change. How many of you have a flow that you currently use in your appointment? Okay, let me ask you this. Is it normal that when you walk into a living room, it's very nuanced. When you walk into a living room, you're like, oh, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, my name is Sharon. Great, awesome. Can I put my shoes somewhere? Would you like to give me a tour of the house? Is that fairly normal first 3 minutes? Don't ever do that again. Let me tell you why. How many of you do a tour before everything else? You know that you don't? No, come on, just so I know. How many of you do a tour before you do anything else? Okay, probably half the room. And very common in America for you walk in and you get the tour of the house so you can get the lay of the land, right? The interesting part is when you're on the tour, you have no idea what the client's going to say, so you always lose. Hey, this other home was going to sell. You get all the tough questions that you've never prepped for, right? Simplest script possible. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, great to be here. Where can we sit down and strategize? Those are your first 3 words. Where can we sit down and strategize? Or 5 words, whatever, right? Where can we? Because that puts you in control of where you sit down and what you're going to do. Very simple. Like let's not overcomplicate this. So the first thing you're going to talk about is track record, and I'll actually walk you through this. Why don't I write all of this, and I'll go through the flow really quick. Track record, buyer persona. Can you read my handwriting? Activation. Okay, this is 5. Let me go through this. Michael will love this. Everything has a frame. Everything has content. Everything has a transition. By the way, I'll give you all of these too, right? First one, track record. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we know that it is our job to bring you an offer that you want at a price that you want at the terms that you want. You should use that every time, by the way. It is the number 1 line that works in every appointment in any continent. It is our job to bring you an offer that you want at a price that you want at the terms that you want. Isn't that what they want? An offer that you want at a price that you want at the terms that you want. Because then you can weave everything back to that. Everything back to that. And we have found that we're able to get the highest price possible for the lowest amount of time in all our marketplaces. So we had the highest sales price to list price ratio as a company and the lowest days on market in our company. So it was a really nice stat, right? We could say, we can get you the highest sales price possible in the lowest amount of time, and this is our track record. That's a compelling argument. I guarantee you have something. Either it's your personal, or there's some company track record, or you're Gary Peer and you have 46% market share, whatever it may be, 61% market share, whatever you have, which is insane, right? So always start with track record. But then you say, it's not, well, we know it's not about the track record. We got to do something very specific for your home. My question is, who's the ideal buyer? Who's the ideal buyer? And they're going to have a blank stare. It's a really good thing. And you say, you bought this home 7 years ago. Why did you buy it? Look at what I just did. I'm putting them in an emotional state on where they actually bought the home, and they're going to tell me everything. Why they bought it, how they got there, how they paid for it, what they paid for it, what was their motivation, everything. Because now you put them in a state of why they actually got it, right? Then you say, well, now that we know who the ideal buyer profile is, we need to activate these buyers. We have buyers here, we have buyers on realestate.com.au, we have buyers in our open homes, we have buyers in auction. Let me walk you through the multiple areas from where we can activate buyers. Because they have no idea. They just think you put it on realestate.com and you hit enter and buyers come. Which is why there's downward pressure on fees. But if you tell them here are the various places in which we activate buyers, they know that you have the secret sauce. Good? Is this helpful? Okay, good. Then you say, hey, now that we've activated all these, now that we know what buyers we're going to activate, we need to actually launch our listing. Favorite line, because we know that good process drives good results. We know that good process drives good results. Let me explain to you the listing launch process. On day 1, we do this. On day 2, we do this. On day 3, we do this. On day 4, we go live. Then we do this. And then 4 days later, we go to auction. And this is what we do. Whatever it may be, right? Whatever. But you're walking them through process because what do they think now? They're like, oh my gosh, they have a structured process and we need to be a part of the structured process because we know good process drives good results. Okay? And then you can say, well, now the process is not enough. Let me actually show you how we use marketing to back up this process. Now you talk about marketing. Everyone's like, well, let me show you about all the marketing that I'm going to do. No, they don't think about that. What you want to say is there are 3 types of marketing: traditional, digital, and social. And let me show you how I'm going to integrate the 3 of them. Good? Here's what I do traditionally, open home. Here's what I do digitally, getting it on realestate.com. Here's what I do socially because I have Facebook, etc. And here's how I do it all together. Now that I laid it out for you, doesn't it make sense that you would present it that way? Otherwise, we just like look at all these 18 things that I do and it confuses the client. Good? Good? I got 5 more, right? Now that you've done marketing, the next thing is, well, after marketing, you say, but how many of you have international buyers in your marketplace? International buyers? Okay, so 6 is, I call it reach. Not only do we have buyers activated locally, but we can go regionally, we can go nationally, and sometimes even internationally. Let me show you the plan through the process. Locally we do this, regionally we do this, nationally we do this, internationally we do this. Right? And it can just be one line, but they're going to remember that you touched on reach. And that's all it is. Okay? 7. How do I do, Mr. Seller, you must be wondering, how do I do all this? It's really important to have a really great technology platform. So this is when you talk text, systems, process. Here's what we do. Here's our technology, here's our back end, here's our process, here's Trello, here's GroupMe, here's WhatsApp, here's how we run everything. You actually show them where you showcase the complexity and you break down the simplicity, right? So you're telling them, I'm going to do all of these things for you, but I need really great systems to be able to do that, and I'm going to bring this to you at no charge to you because when you work with me, you get all of these. Good? 8. Pricing. 9. This is my favorite, market dynamics. So we say, when you say pricing, all of them will say, oh, my home is worth somewhere between $950,000 and $1.1 million. They start with the range, right? Yes, they start with the range, right? And it's our job to narrow down that range in some way, and then either if we're going to go to auction, then that's a process around that. So they need some form of pricing. I will tell you this. Go with strategy as opposed to locking on the price because they take pricing personally. Don't you think sellers take pricing personally? So you say, hey, it's our job to build a strategy to get you an offer that you want or a price that you want or the terms that you want. Can you tell like I've done this a lot? Right? This is extremely ingrained, right? Everything comes back to the same thing, getting you an offer that you want at a price that you want at the terms that you want. Market dynamics. I will give you 2. You should use this every time, and this will blow your mind because it will blow the client's mind every single time. Here's how I do it. Mr. Seller, there are 131 million housing units in the United States. There are 13.2 housing units in in California. There's 1.7 housing units in Los Angeles. In this neighborhood, there are 542 homes. The average sales price is $1.3 million. There's 7 active, 3 pending, and 4 sold. And out of that, 1 has had a record price. Would you like me to show you the 7-step process in which I can get you to be the next record price? Hold on. I'm not done. Okay? Now, you say, Mr. Seller, there are 9.1 million homes in Australia. There is 2.85 million homes in New South Wales. There's 1.87 million homes in Sydney. This neighborhood, those are real numbers. I actually looked them up, right? This is not hard, right? It's Google, right? And you can say this neighborhood has 542 homes. The average sales price is 1.6 million. There are 8 on the market, 3 under contract, and 4 sold. It has 1 record price so far. Would you like me to show you the 7-step process in which we can get you to be the next record price? Do you think after that they can say anything? Because now your 7-step process is irrelevant. You can say whatever. You can be like, would you like to go to dinner with me? Whatever. You still win. Because you've just shown them that you know macro to micro, right? And you think that's hokey to say that, but going macro to micro is super, super important, because now just saying there are 5 active listings, 3 under contract, and 2 sold, they know that too. But when you put it in context, they're like, oh my gosh, like Rick knows everything, right? That's what you want. Good? Helpful? Do you see I'm like a total nerd about this stuff? Okay. Last one that I don't see a lot of people talking about is what we call, I mean, you might call it something else. We call contract to close. Do you call it something else? Settlement, just the settlement period, right? Once you actually accept the offer, a bunch of stuff happens in that period. We keep deals together in that period, right? That they don't have any idea about. We never talk about the underbelly of the beast. Would you agree that this is a complex process where negotiations still happening, inspections are happening? Like a lot of weird stuff happens there, right? But they have no idea. They just think, oh my gosh, like Megan hit a button, it's realestate.com.au, we got a little auction, like why should I pay her 2.5%? That's what they're thinking, right? But they have no idea what we do. Showing them, hey, once it goes under contract, these are the 7 things that we do, this is how we negotiate for you. Show them everything. That's when it really starts to get exciting. All right, is that helpful? 10-step process. It starts with track record. You say, now that I have this track record, I need to figure out why you bought this, who's going to buy it. If you're going to figure out who's going to buy it, where do you activate them? Where do you activate them? You actually go, how do you launch a listing? How do you launch a listing to marketing? Marketing is done, traditional, digital, social, integrating all of them. You need reach. Once you get reach, you figure out you need a platform to deliver reach. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing to market dynamics, macro to micro. Let me show you what happens when you get under contract. This is 2-day listing presentation workshop that I do that you got in like 7 minutes, right? And the pre-launch process that you saw, which was the whiteboard with me pointing, that's all a part of the pre-launch, right? So we do the whole thing. But is that, like, did that give you some ideas? Okay, ma'am. Great question. Do you do all this before you do the tour? Okay, awesome. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, could we sit down and strategize, right? You want to take the tour when there's a natural break in the conversation. Generally, that break happens right about here, because when they start talking about pricing, you're like, oh, I'm so glad we should talk about pricing. Let's walk the home together. You stop and you walk when you're talking, because now it's very framed that you're walking the home when you've already shown your value prop. They can't say anything. You have won already. Now it's just a question of what you may price it at. You don't have to lose on pricing ever anymore. You don't have to have someone else buy the listing anymore. You don't have to defend the value of some other outlier sale that just happened in the neighborhood. Nothing. You never have to do that when you can frame it. And the natural break also helps you get up and stretch and do all of that. So it's really good kind of kinesthetic way to work through it. Good? Is that helpful? Okay, awesome. Is it good? Is this good? Can I run back? Michael, you had a thought?
Sharon, a question. So you're obviously in the onboarding process. A new agent would come through this process pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yes? Yeah?
Yeah.
Second, how often would they need to do that 2-day workshop for them to actually cha-ching get it?
You should at least do it once a year.
Once a year, yeah, okay.
It should have, because every time I do it, my last one was, I had a bunch of new stuff, and then I found the whiteboard, there was a bunch of new stuff, and I found a new tool, there was a bunch of new stuff. We're constantly reworking that, and so you get, and here's what I do with everyone that's attended the workshop. I just keep giving them videos of my newer workshop. You almost never have to be there after you do it once.
Awesome.
And we do it like video role play together, like Michael, just like you do. Like, let me role play, let me see you do it, because when you get the language patterns down, saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, it's my job to bring you an offer that you want, a price that you want, the terms that you want. You're actually building confidence, right? You change, we figure out modalities and breathing and all of that. It's very helpful when you can get it nailed down.
Yeah, fantastic.
Good, is that helpful? Okay, I'm firing through it. I'm on schedule. Okay, so here's what we did. How many of you do sales meetings in your offices? Sales meetings or office meetings, etc., right? So here's what we did. We used to do sales meetings, and we decided that after we learned that we're going to become this listing machine, that we were never going to do sales meetings anymore. So we called it the mastermind effect, and every sales meeting, no service providers, no legal updates, no operations, no turn in your forms, no party tomorrow, no announcements, nothing. Sales meeting was pure capabilities and value. You would show up in the meeting, and we would say, today we're going to talk about pricing, right? And I'd say, Rick, I walked into this appointment, and the client said, well, Jimmy said my home was worth 1.3, and you tell me my home is worth 950. What would you say, right? And Rick's like, you're not giving me any context to this. I'm like, go. So Rick started through it. He works through it. I'm like, that was awesome. Thank you so much for doing it. Then I go to the next person, right? And then we do it 3 times. And then they're like, okay, Sharon, that was cool. You do it. Right? And I go, well, great. How many times? I do it 4 different ways. And then I'm like, can we do it again? Now imagine doing that over and over and over and over. Our entire company, you can shake somebody and good scripting will come out. So for example, I will tell you this, my favorite test when I go into a listing appointment, coaching with a client, with an agent is, $1 million home, we should all know this, by the way. We should all know this. $1 million home, I know there's an auction environment, but think about this for a second. $1 million home, we think market is worth $1 million. We could price it maybe, the range is 950 to 1.1. Is that cool? It happens from time to time. So I'll ask this agent, so tell me, you think it's worth between 950 and 1.1, you're not sure where the client is, how do you present the range? Well, and they'll do the, well, right? And I go, no, present the range, because you need to present the range without boxing yourself in and still win. Here we go. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we think about pricing not just as an absolute, but as a pricing strategy. Here's how we think about it. We know that in the current market conditions, it's somewhere between 950,000 to 1.1 million, but I don't want to scare you when I say that. We actually think about it when if we price the home at 950,000, we call it event pricing. We want to create an auction-like environment to drive a lot of buyers and momentum. But then, if we want to actually take all those bottom feeders out of the market, we can actually list it at 1 million and actually figure out we get more legitimate offers. But if you're traditional in how you think about the world, we can list it at 1.1 million and leave room for negotiation. Which one of these appeals to you? I'm sorry, we should all be able to do that like that, right? Because if you do that in the appointment, you can, whatever you say for pricing is, you're the boss. Because now you've shown a path forward in that, right? Pricing with ranges is a super important conversation, because if you can do that, you can take the conversation anywhere you want. You can say, can we go private auction? Can we go private? Whatever strategy you have, you can insert it with that range conversation. Is that helpful? Does it help at all? Does it help that you can say, oh, I need to probably tweak my range conversation, right? If I came and shook you right now, could you give me a range conversation? Maybe? Come on, smile or something. It's so funny when I said, can you do this? Everyone's head just, eyes just not looking at me. I'm not calling on you. Come on, right? I'm not like that. But I wanted to show you that you need to have your verbal dexterity down, because then it gives you insane confidence in the living room, because you can say whatever you want. So what we did is we changed all our meetings to these mastermind meetings, and here's what we would do. I would tell all my sales managers, Rick, I would tell them, hey, go invite recruits. Tell them to come. Tell them we're just going to share whatever we're doing. There is no pitch. Just bring people. And then people from other companies would show up to our sales meetings to learn our stuff. And you don't think I'm doing propaganda? Of course I am. I'm like, oh my God, I went on this appointment with Andy Jones. Andy, can you tell them about how great this was? Oh, we used the TELUS tools and this happened. I know there are 7 people waiting. I'm just selling. Right? But when you can get that, now everybody believes that we have this amazing machine. So now the talk of the town is, hey, they give everything away for free, but everyone's excited that our sales meetings are not boring anymore, and now our sales meeting attendance went from 60% to 99%. Everyone came to meetings because they thought they would get something out of it. Just that, from a culture pot perspective, changed everything. Everything. All right, cool. Exit strategy. You guys are show me some numbers, tell me what you did, all of that good stuff. I'm going to walk you through the 5 things on how we actually built the business to sell. And I want to tell you this up front. I can't share purchase price, et cetera, because of contractual stuff, but I will show you why we did it. And the goal is not to sell your business. The goal is to have options. Would you agree? The goal is just to have options. So here are the 5 things. First one. Make sure you guys can see this. Is this helpful? Yeah. All right. The first one, we went to market. When I say we went to market every year. And what that meant was we actually took the firm and we said, if we were to sell the firm today, what would we get? And who would potentially buy it? And how would they value us? And may that be, I've actually sold 2 teams right now to another super team. Like a super team bought a team because they wanted market share. Like crazy stuff like this happens, by the way. It can totally happen if you find the right buyer. So first, we went to market every year because the last thing you want is suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, we need to sell. Like, you have no idea how the market looks at you. So we went to the market every single year, and I talked to 2 or 3 potential acquirers every year, and they would just give me their model. This is how we would evaluate you. I'm like, this is amazing. Thank you so much for giving me the formula. Let me go rebuild my company to this formula so that I'm worth more. It was amazing, right? So the first thing we did was we went to the market every year because it also helped us establish relationships, because next time I actually wanted to call on somebody, I could have said, hey, thank you for running those numbers for the last couple of years. I think we're at the mark where you may want to buy us. Like, that was a much easier conversation as opposed to going in cold. Okay? First one, I will tell you, if you're ever thinking about any form of exit, may it be your rental lease business, may it be your sales business, you've got to have conversations much early on, because it's a lot easier to figure out who may actually buy you at some point. Or partner with you, merge with you, whatever. Cool? I want you to know that we look at the Macquarie slides, and I love Ben, what he was talking about. It may be different for your business. You have no idea. It's just nice to know what it's actually like. Good? That's number 1. Number 2, this was the core of everything. We decided that we would have 95% of our company in TELUS DNA, meaning there was not going to be more than 5% of people that were like, that we wanted to get rid of. That means 95% of the time, I loved every single person. And when you have that many people, I'm sorry, like, people slide through the cracks. And it's okay. But we said it would be amazing if we had 95% of our company who were core TELUS DNA, because we would love what we're doing every single day. Number 3, I want to tell you about this production concentration. I will tell you right now, you should all go at home and run these numbers. You should tell your operators to run these numbers. I guarantee you right now, from a sales perspective, I don't know about leasing, from a sales perspective, 80% of your business is done by 20% of the people. The 80-20 rule is in effect in some way. And I will actually wager that 90% of your business is done by 10% of the people. It is significant. It will shock you to look at it. You should totally run these numbers. But here's the interesting part. When someone buys you and they realize that 90% of your business is done by 10% of the people and none of them have contracts and they can walk out the door, how scary is that for a buyer? Very scary, right? So we changed that, and I want to show you that. 2 more things. Everybody thinks about these brokerage KPIs. Hey, I got $1 billion in sales production. I made $25 million in GCI. I paid out $20 million. I kept $5 million. Out of the $5 million, I used $2.5 million to operate my business, so I have $2.5 million in net income. It's 3 times that, so my business was worth $7.5 million. No, it's not. You have no idea. You have no idea. So I said, if that's the case, you should just keep running your business right now. You'll make more. You'll make more staying in your business. So I said, we've got to come up with a different way of running our business. I want to actually show you that way, the formula that we used. Cool, that we rebuilt from the scratch. Is this good? Is this helpful? A good blueprint for you for a potential exit? All right, here's the first one. 90% of agents, when I started at TELUS, 90% of production was done by 10% of agents. It should not be surprising. On the day of sale, 90% of production was done by 41% of agents. Changing the mix was super powerful for a buyer because they thought it dramatically reduced their risk. It's a lot easier for 10% to walk out than 41% to walk out. Is that fair? Does that make sense? That was our biggest change in what we did. We actually did this very, very thoughtfully. People think this was a behind-the-scenes thing, but if you start to manage this, you will have a much healthier business. I'll walk into this math. You're going to think I'm crazy. I'll walk into this math. What if I told you that everyone's thinking about recruiting agents or doing sales, and everyone's like, it's sales. It's like, agent comes on board, agent sells something, we make some money, we do some operations, and there's some profit. Yes? We think about it somewhat like that? Let me give you a different formula. We call this AAC. AAC is agent acquisition cost. So here's the formula. If I told you I'm trying to get after a agent, his name is Rick. I'm going to spend $5,000 acquiring, getting Rick to come join the company, whatever that $5,000 means. Rick on average does 8 sales a year of $1 million each. I'm just going to make up some numbers here, right? So I say $5K to acquire Rick. It takes Rick, say, 5 months for me to recapture that $5K. Does that make sense? Like he makes a couple of sales, I make the money back. Good? And then Rick generally he's a loyal guy. He'll generally stay with the company for 4.5 years. Just go with the idea, right? Everything that I make after this is pure profit. Is that right? So I say in the next 4.5 years, I make $180,000 from Rick. I'm just making up numbers. Is that cool? Does that make sense though? I spend $5,000, I recapture $5,000 in 5 months, and then I make $180,000. Good? So here's who's recording? Can you stop recording? I can't talk about this stuff, but yeah. So here's the secret formula. You should be like, oh my God, secret formula. The formula is this. Mr. and Mrs. Big Buyer, if I came with a formula where I could tell you, hey, I'm Indian, I can do formula and stuff like that, right? So, sorry, that was my only Indian joke in the entire time, so it's totally cool. Rumi, is that cool? It's totally cool, right? So, my formula is, if you put $5,000 into recruiting an agent today, and I could show you formulaically that you could make $180,000, would that interest you? Yes. How much are you willing to spend? 50? Great. You just made 1.8 million. That gets exciting, right? You spend 500K, you made 18 million bucks. Now, if I can prove that formula, now the acquisition is very different for us, right? So I was not trying to just build a business where I can sell, hey, here is net income and you're going to pay me a portion of rent rolls and all of that. I said, wouldn't it be amazing where I can build and sell a formula that they can buy, that they can install into their business and start to print money? Because here's the best part. If you can have a formula where someone else can take and install and print money, you can keep that formula yourself as well. And we have options. The entire idea was building options. And all of this need not make sense, but I wanted to show you the thought process that you don't have to do it the old school way, because if you don't like the rules, you can totally change it as long as it works for you. Is this somewhat interesting? So this is what, I'll go this side. Agent acquisition cost was number 1. Agent recapture was number 2. Profit contribution was number 3. And long-term value, lifetime value was number 4. Those were the 4 numbers. And so all my pitch to potential acquirers were, you don't need my profit and loss statement, let me show you a formula. And they're like, this is impossible. I go, great. Would you like me to show you, I'm going to invest $100,000 in my business today, and in 30 days I'm going to show you my profit and loss statement, and if that number adds up, will you agree my formula works? Yes. Okay, let me invest 100 grand. I'll talk to you in 90 days. Invest 100 grand, come back in 90 days. They're like, this is impossible. I was like, would you like me to invest another 100 grand and show you how this works? I'll come back in 90 days. Here's 100 grand, come back in 90 days, show me your formula. That's when it really starts to get exciting. Because you're showing, Michael calls it evidence, right? You show them, give them the promise and show them the evidence, called proof, promise, proof, promise, proof, promise. It is no different than when you're saying, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when I actually put this process in place to sell your home, these 3 things happen. Look at what I did on 123 Main Street. Oh, you don't like? Look at what I did on 123 Division. Look at what I did on 124 Kent. Look at what I did. Essentially, you're telling them what you're going to do, and then you could go back and show them what you did. You're telling them what you're going to do, you're going to show back and show them what you did. It's just proof, evidence, proof, it's over and over. Is that helpful? Is that good? Is that helpful on how we thought about the formula and the exit? Does that give you a different perspective? Okay. A couple more things. Right here, sorry. Last 2. The coachability. This is really, I'm going to give you very tactical things here, super tactical. We put out, you can actually go get this if you would like, we had a 450-mile footprint, 450 miles wide, 22 offices, 450 miles wide, and it was really hard to get to all the offices all the time. So I decided that wouldn't it be amazing if every single day of the week we did a call call it a coaching call, mastermind call. It was more a mastermind call where somebody would get on the call at the same time, Monday through Friday, every single day of the week, and deliver something amazing. It was live for TELUS agents, but then we said, this is amazing for recruiting. So we took all the calls, recorded them, and put them up on a podcast. You can go listen to the live, you can go look at the TELUS podcast. There are hundreds of calls. Hundreds of calls. So Monday was a growth call. Tuesday was a market call, essentially how to use market data. Wednesday was scripting. Thursday was actually doing deal diligence, negotiation stuff. And Friday was an interview with the top performer who gave you a blueprint for how they grew their business. We did it every single week, over and over. Every time I talked to every agent and I asked them, what is one thing you love about TELUS? They say, if you took the calls away, I'll leave. And I go, you're crazy. The calls are out there for free. They're like, yeah, but I get to listen to it live, and I get to listen to you guys do it over. I get to be on the calls. I get to see the underbelly of the beast. Every single day. Can you imagine how much content that is? Because now when someone actually says, hey, Sharon, can you talk about pricing? I don't talk about pricing with them. I talk about pricing on the call. I've done like 9 calls on pricing. I'm not saying I'm good at pricing. I'm just saying I've done 9 calls on pricing. That's why I know my pricing stuff, because I've actually articulated it 9 times on a call, and people have listened to it over and over. 60% of TELUS agents would actually get on the call live. We had 10,000 downloads a week. Let that sink in for a second. We had 600 agents. 60% of them would listen to it live. And we had 10,000 downloads per week. Free recruiting. Free brand building, free positioning. I mean, Megan always calls it, you got to position the leadership. It's free positioning. But you position from the position of, hey, I'm going to give all the stuff. Okay, you can go get all this live. It's free. It's on the podcast right now. Keep going. Anytime someone would ask me a question, I realized that video is a really powerful thing. Anytime I would get asked the same question more than 3 times, I would just record a video and I just put it up on YouTube. So there's a YouTube channel. You just Google Sharon YouTube. There's like hundreds of videos on pricing, timing, convenience, listing presentations, how to actually, everything. It's all there. I'll give you the slides. It's all in the free public domain. I've actually gotten agents like commenting on my YouTube posts that are not even our agents. It's the greatest thing ever. I started doing this, which is very, very cool. Have you heard of Anchor.fm? Anyone heard of Anchor? Very cool app. It's a free podcast app. It's a free radio app. Here's what I do. So let's say Megan and I are together, and I have, and she has a question, right? She'll be like, hey, Sharon, how do you actually talk about commissions in the living room? You see downward pressure in pricing. I'm like, great. Hit record. Put it on the table. I'm like, Megan, ask me the question again. She and I have a conversation, and it just records live. I click publish. I'm done. Next time someone asks me a question about how you actually deal with downward spirals and commission, I'm like, oh, you should go listen to the interview that I did with Megan Jaffe. It changed because how many times you as principals get a, hey, you got a minute, can you help me with this? And you say the same thing over and over and over and over again. I'm not saying you don't need to be there for your agents. I'm just saying they just want a resource that is short, that is sweet, and they want to have it. And I will tell you, most agents don't want to bother you. They're like, oh my gosh, Michael Sugarlow is so busy, like I don't want to ask him this basic question. But if they know this resource existed, they would be so much happy. That would be their first stop, and then they would ask you the more complex, the more interesting question, and what you can actually coach, you can actually be a better mentor, right? Anytime you ever have to repeat something over, just hit record. And you may be conscious for the first few episodes, right? Right, Rick? You may be but after that, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because now we have, like I've done 5,000 videos. I'm not a good-looking dude, but I get a shit ton of views. I'm sorry, I get a lot of views. It's amazing. Okay, this is going to scare you. We fired our bottom 10% every quarter. Sorry, is that? Okay, so let me tell you how this worked. Very simple. When an agent came on board, I would say, when you take 7 or more listings a year, the TELUS platform will save you 1 day a week. What would you do with an extra 52 days a year? So they'll have this conversation. I say, great. I say, with all these resources that we have provided, I expect you to at least do roughly $10 million in production per year. In our marketplaces, it's $1 million a month, taking January and December off. You'll sell 1 home a month. Can you do that? Yes. I'm going to tell you this right now. That's a minimum production standard. If that doesn't work out for you, this platform is probably not right for you, and you and I may choose to go our separate ways. Is that okay? Because I'm going to tell you that conversation, that's going to be a weird conversation for me to have with you. But in return, my promise is, if you're chugging and plugging and you're committed to your work ethic, I will do whatever it takes to support you to get there. whatever it takes. Every quarter, we ended up firing 40 to 50 agents. Like, you just invite them to work somewhere else, right? And I'm sorry, and I would say most of the time it was because of DNA. Most of the time it was because, listen, you don't want to do more than 3 deals a year. This is not the place for you. You're hogging resources from the likes of Steen who are crushing it, and because of you, he's not getting his marketing. And it bothers me because I made a commitment to him, and you're not doing what you said you were going to do anyway. And then they would say to me, well, you know, I've had a tough family thing. I have this. Totally cool. Hey, are you committed? Are you committed to doing this? Awesome. I'm happy to support you. Let's write a contract now, very simple, saying you're going to focus for the next 8 months, 12 months, 16 months, and you get your production up, and you're going to focus on these activities. Great, awesome. Let's write a little contract. You don't just IOU, write it, sign it, and I'll hold you accountable. You do that, you're in, I'll support you. You're never going to get that support anywhere else. If you don't want to do that, you're out. Take your time. Would you like 10 days, 15 days, 20 days? And wherever you're going, I'll give you a great recommendation, but this is not the right place for you. And I'll tell you this, and you're going to think I'm really ruthless when I say this, is in sales meetings, I'll actually say, I'm really excited to welcome 17 new agents to TELUS this week, and I'm also very sad that we invited 4 other agents to go work somewhere else. Glowing reviews from top agents. Thank you so much. Sharon was such a jerk. I hated working with him. I'm like, why didn't you tell me? Like, why did you wait for me to fire him to actually tell me that you didn't like working with him? That's crazy. It was insane. But the sad part is if you actually don't make it known in a very gentle yet respectful way, they think you're full of crap. And when you're not that way. And we said it was not about the number of people. We wanted highly productive, high integrity agents that are going to deliver great per agent productivity. And the only way to do that was to let our bottom 10% go every quarter. And we did it every quarter. I also didn't do it in December and January. That's just not nice to do it over the holidays, right? So we waited to February 1. Right? February 1. And my sales managers, oh my gosh, like they hated having that conversation. They're like, Sharon, can you call Jimmy? I'm like, oh my gosh, like how many people am I going to fire today, right? But you got to do it. They respect you for it. You do it gently, right? Like you do it gently. And at some point, I have actually had agents come back and say, the greatest thing you did was to fire me. I went to wherever. I got my act together. I'm ready to come back and work with you. Done. Those agents, insane because they're so loyal. So loyal. But when you get the reputation in the marketplace that you're going to provide all these tools, you're going to work really hard, you've got to have some standard. It was really hard to do. And I will tell you, most principals don't have any, you have never had the conversation of letting an agent go. It's just weird. Would you, like, just kind of nod your head, tell me it's kind of sort of true. Right, okay, all right. Last 2 things, I'm going to go very fast on this one. I call this culture in the cloud. The first touch point that a lot of people have with your firm, with you, with how they actually have more productivity is not by looking at you, is with their phone, is with their computers, is with their email, is in the cloud. I want to give you the very fast culture in the cloud ideas. Number 1, you already saw the calls. That's good. Number 2, we had a private Facebook group. If you don't have a private Facebook group for all your agents, I think it's a great opportunity. They're on Facebook anyway. You should make them go there. You can do a lot more with it. It was the most vibrant community that we had. It was easy. We didn't have to send email. They were already there. Our Facebook group was a thriving, like melting pot of culture. This was the most powerful thing, one of the most powerful things we did. So Megan, for example, I would come up to you and be like, thank you so much for helping me through this deal. You saved my family. I put this deal together. They give you some good feedback, right? Whenever someone tells me something good, here's what I do. Oh, thank you so much. Hey, do you mind if we do an interview with you on that? He just told me, she just told me, and we do what we call an I Love TELUS series. They're like, no problem. Same set of questions. I have a person asking the question. They talk. They just write the questions up. They edit it. They put it on a blog post. We had hundreds of these. Every time a manager would actually go recruit somebody, they'd be like, hey, Jimmy, it was great to meet you. Hey, you know what? It's best actually hearing from the people that actually work here. Let me send you a link to my the I Love TELUS Stories feature. They're scrolling. It's like 100. It's all live, still live. You can go look, Google I Love TELUS. You can just read. It's just stories after stories after stories, because every time they tell me something nice, I just put them onto a writer. And they just document their experience. It was so easy, and it was a nice way to actually show tribute to the agent. Because The agent told me that they had a great experience. I recognized them somewhere. They feel like their thank you was memorialized, and now me and the agent have a better relationship. Yes, sure, the side effects may be recruiting and all of that stuff, but I did it for the agent to say thank you because I didn't know how else to accept the gratitude. That was just me I needed to grow, but I thought that was a cool way. The agent loved it. And I'd say 9 out of 10 agents said yes, 1 out of 10 said no. And we said, that's totally cool. But imagine the library of good stuff that you can start to build, and you can show tribute to the agents for the stuff that you've done for them. Right? It's taking care, like Steve, taking care of you. That's all it is, taking care of you. Very easy to do. Yes? Okay, keep going. I call this the 25-butt rule. 25-butt rule is this. You may change this number. The 25-butt rule is very simple. If there are 25 butts in a room, I'm going to be in that room. So I tell my managers, you're going to have an event, and you're going to get 25 people in there, I'm coming. For us, it was the right size so I can actually have influence. A lot of times my partner would say, oh, I don't really know if I want to drive, 45 minutes to go to that meeting because I don't know if it's a sales meeting, it's worth it. I'm like, hey, very simple. Can you get me 25 people in the room? Awesome, I'm in. Wherever there was 25 people, I was there because I believed that I just set myself a threshold. So for you, if it's 85 people in the company and you believe you can get 10 people to go to breakfast, you should do it because it's a really good use of leverage of your time, and it's much nicer to have a framework to make a decision. Okay? That was good. All right. Very hokey. You're going to think this is strange. Agents loved this. Every time an agent would come on board, we would actually just do it's just so easy. TELUS welcomes Karen, right? And we would give this to her at onboarding. She would put it on her own Facebook group. She would tag us, and we would click share. I would tell my entire management team, anytime you see that, click share. And those posts would just go viral. So like 15, 20 people would share. Everyone would be like, congratulations, 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 congratulations. And as we were bringing on 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 agents a year, can you imagine every 3 days we were posting, right? And it would just constantly create this effect of, like, I had family members tell me, how many people are you hiring? I'm like, that's awesome. Like, that's awesome. Like, you only need to go viral once, right? Always remember that. You only need to go viral once. But very easy to do. You respect the agent that's coming on board. You're grateful for them to come on. You recognize them with your brand. They feel connected to the brand. Some of you already, but isn't this super easy to operationalize and makes the agent feel really good? I would also do it where if there was a really great sale, a record sale, you want to recognize somebody, just do it on their behalf because agents really feel great about the process. All right, a couple more things. I used to do this every month, and for some reason, they loved it. Every month this is an amazing quote, you get what you celebrate. So every month I would say, I'm really grateful for the month of July, and here are my top 10 takeaways from the month. Number 1, I did this. Number 1, we did this. Number 3, we did this. Number 4, we listed this home. Number 5, we recruited this many agents. Number 6, we invited these 17 agents to go somewhere else. Number 7, I would just list out the top 10 every month. That email would get read over and over. Like, Sharon, I can't believe how much activity there is. It was just a summary every month. Every month, the first of the month, I would write my top 10. It was a nice way of me saying thank you. It's a nice way of them keeping them posted on what was actually happening. Super easy, right? Super easy. But looking back, if I had taken away all of these small things, it would have not actually had the impact of the culture we wanted. We made this commitment. My team told me this. How many of you are always thinking about launching new ideas, launching new things, launching new pieces of technology, new marketing pieces? Raise your hand. How many of you are launching stuff all the time, right? How many of you believe that launching and getting adoption is hard? It's hard, right? Here's what we do. We launch something new every Wednesday. We just made the commitment. It can be something like as simple as here's a small marketing piece. It can be something as a lead generation strategy. It can be anything. Every Wednesday, we launch something. Every Wednesday. And it was super easy because I was like, oh my gosh, like what are we going to launch this Wednesday? But it kept our team innovating constantly. Like what am I going to launch? Sharon's going to ask for something on Tuesday night because he has to do a video on Wednesday. But it always kept us launching because now what an agent would do is they would go potentially we have cutthroat recruiting in California. And other principals would tell our agents, oh, we're really innovative. We do this, we do that. And they're like, well, do you launch stuff every Wednesday? I mean, that became the brand. They would tell other principals, oh, Sharon launches stuff every Wednesday. Like you can never keep up with him. And it doesn't matter what it is, but we had the cadence of always launching something every Wednesday. So if you're going to launch something, don't build up to a big launch. It's okay. It's like the closing gift, right? Sure, you can do the big closing gift, but if you keep going every Wednesday with something small, you win. Same thing with your clients, right? You don't have to do something, if that's your cadence of communicating with your clients every Wednesday, you communicate with your clients, that's cool. But you got the cadence because every Wednesday you get something, they get something from you, which is really powerful. All right, good. My favorite thing, let this play, my favorite thing, if we didn't have this, and I'll tell you what it is, if we didn't have this, we would not have the culture that we had. Every single day, an email would go out. And the email was all the new listings, everything that went under contract, and everything that got sold for that day. This is one day. Right? This is one day. Right? But here's the best part about this. The best part about this is, I'm going to go back and let's play again. Every time this email would come out, here's what we would do. I would go in, and I did this for a reason. I would go in, and there's this button right here. I would click that button, and I would congratulate every single new listing, every single under contract, and every single sold every single day. Can you imagine? It was one line. Congratulations on the new listing. You're awesome. That's it. Right? Every single new listing, every single under contract, every single sold. I know sometimes it's hard because there's a lot going on. You may just choose to do it once a week, but imagine the rapport that you start to have with your agents. Right? Just that email, this was our #1 read email of the company. Scorecard. They love it. They love their picture on it. And, oh my gosh, you reported my sale wrong. Like, this was the #1. I can't believe you said 452,000. It was like, I have a team member. She actually had to take vacation. She was stressed out because she was responsible for what we call the quick look. She was stressed out because she would get all the responses saying, that number's wrong, this number's wrong. It's okay, right? We'll fix it the next day, but they can't stand it because that is their scorecard. You did nothing. Even if you sent out a weekly hot sheet, all new this week, all under contract this week, all sold this week. Congratulations to our team. We're very excited to be doing this. From you, can you imagine the impact it has on them? But getting a congratulations on every new listing, every under contract, and every sold every single day, that's awesome, right? So I would sit in my car. I would pull up in my driveway. I would not even open my garage door. I'd pull up in my driveway. I'd get on my phone, and I would do all the congratulation emails. It'd probably take me 15, 20 minutes. And then when I was done, I'd put my phone away, open my garage door, go in that was my ritual every day because the email would come out at 5 o'clock at night. Just imagine if you got this every day. Would you read this? Totally. And then what I would do exactly this, right? And I would go on my phone and I would keep swiping, and then I would send it to a recruit. Hey man, we had a lot of sales today. I'd love for you to come and join us so we can do the same for your business. It was so easy, right? Cool. Good. Helpful? Okay. I got 2 more things for you. Okay, top 3 commitments. Please, if you don't mind, go back to your sheets. If you have 1, that's cool. If you have 3, that's cool. If you have 18, that's cool. I would love if you either take a picture and email it to me, but I'd love for you to send it to me because whoever emails me stuff, I'm going to give you all the goodies back. Some accountability. Give you like 10 seconds. 10 seconds. It's Sharon@kingstonlane.com. Just whatever you took, just take a picture or write it to me, send it to me. That way I know that I can give you some goodies back. While we're doing that, any comments, any thoughts before I have one more quick story, and then maybe if you have a minute or two, Michael and I can do some Q&A. Any other comments, thoughts that I went over? Was it helpful? Okay. Give you one more minute. All right, so while we're waiting, can I keep going? Okay, so a bunch of people asked me from yesterday about video, and having a structure for doing video is really helpful. Like, we're all not Rick. Like, he can just do video. You're all not Michael. Like, they can just do video. It's natural for them. But would you like me to give you a very simple structure on how you can do video without having to rethink it every time? Maybe? Okay, this is called the hook, the intro, the story, and the offer. Okay, please write that down. Hook, intro, story, and offer. Great presenters like Shane and Michael and Rick and Megan will do this naturally. Hook, intro, story, offer. Okay. Would you like me to do an example? Okay. So you would do something, go vertical, generally way easier, like I told you, right? Makes you look skinnier, taller, all that good stuff. So you would say hook. First is hook. No intro first. First is a hook. You say, have you ever wondered why our neighborhood has been having 7% year-over-year increase for the last 3 years? Hook, right? Intro. My name is Sharon Srivatsa. I work with Gary Peer, and I want to tell you the exact 3 reasons as to why we have this continuous increase. Intro. Story. Here is reason number 1, blah, blah, blah. Reason number 2, blah, blah, blah. Here's number 3, blah, blah, blah. Good? That's the story. The offer is, if you ever want to know how that impacts your home's value, just message me below, and I'd be happy to give it to you. Done. Good? Now, take the same thing, and it's something else. Say you're doing an open home. Have you ever wanted to walk into an open home that's just full of light, that's going to make it just an amazing experience for you and your family? Whatever. Hook, right? Story. My name is Sharon Srivatsa. I work with Gary Peer in Brisbane, or in Melbourne, and here I want to tell you about the 3 features of the home that are amazing. 1, 2, 3. By the way, if you ever want to see this home, or you want to know how this home's listing is going to impact your home's value, let me know. Same thing. Hook, intro, story, offer. Right? Make it super easy for yourself. If you start getting good, start to play with it. But that way, it makes it super easy every single time. And it also is a very structured way, and you never have to like rethink it over and over. Is that framework helpful? Because now you always think, because if you go intro first, then you're already kind of like, they're like, oh, who's this guy? But you want to do the hook first. That's when it gets exciting. Okay. You guys know how to get my slides. If you don't know how to get my slides, it's take a picture. And I want to tell you a quick story. My last story is this. I want to give you the biggest lesson that I learned. Oh, here, you want to go back to that? Okay, go back to that. I want to give you the biggest lesson that I learned in this entire process, and I really hope that this lesson means a lot to you. The lesson is this, that you cannot just 10x one part of your life. And I want to be a little vulnerable and tell you that I really thought I was Superman. I really thought that I could build this plan along with my team, and we could go from 45 agents to 600 agents. I thought we were going to crush it, and everything would be amazing, and I could just put in more work. I could hustle and grind some more. I could do more. I could be more. Whatever waking hours I had, I knew I could just work and outwork and do whatever it took to get that number. Sometimes we feel that way, and sometimes it's okay. But I'll tell you what happened. What happened was my health completely broke down. My relationship with my wife broke down. I barely saw my children. And it became a really tough time in my life. And it got to the point where until I was bedridden sick, I didn't really understand, I didn't really believe how much other parts of your life have to lift at the same time. You can't 10x one part of your life. And I want to tell you this one quick story as to what happened. So this was 3 years ago. I was sitting in a room just like this, and there was this lady on stage, and I told Michael the story. I was crying when I told Michael the story. This lady came on stage, and she started talking. She was talking about transformation. She started talking about leadership, Megan. And as she was talking, it felt like she was talking to me, right? Just like she was talking to me. And every time I had a question, I was about to like raise my hand, and she would naturally just answer the question. I was like, this is insane. And I went home, and I was talking to my dad, and my dad knew I was sick, and we were growing. I told my dad, this lady can really change my life. And my dad said, great, contact her. Hire her. I was like, what does that mean? Like, what does it mean to hire somebody you've never met? And he said, pick a number, a dollar amount, that is painful yet affordable. I was like, that's weird. Like, I don't even know how to answer that question, right? So I said, so pick a number. Like, let's pick a number for argument. I said, $25,000. He goes, okay. He goes, write her an email. My dad is scripting me, right? Like, I take this very seriously. So my dad's like, hey, write her this email and say that you want her advice. And I go, like, how do I say that? So this is the email that I wrote. I wrote her an email, and I said, I loved watching you speak. It felt like you spoke right to me. I want to offer you, this is all I have. I want to offer you $25,000 as a symbolism of my seriousness. I want to offer you $25,000 as a symbolism of my seriousness. And all I ask in return is that when I email you, you can prioritize my communication over others. I don't want any time to meet. I don't want any meetings. I don't want any calls. Just prioritize my communication. And so she writes me back saying, is this a joke, right? And so I hired her as my advisor, my mentor, my coach. And I will tell you right now, transformations do not happen in isolation. Transformations do not happen in isolation. I wish I had done that 15 years ago. I wish my dad had that conversation with me 15 years ago and told me, hey, pick a number that you can barely afford that still makes you shake and write that check. Write that check to Rick Rushton so that he can take you. He believes in that symbolism, that symbol of seriousness where he can take you and he can take you to the next level. And I say this because if there's anything that I would have done differently, it was to get a coach, a mentor, a advisor with so much sooner, and it would completely change the entire trajectory of my life. I actually believe that if I had her a year before, we would have done significantly more than 10x. Significantly more than 10x. She restored my balance in my health. She helped me restore balance in my family. She helped me build a better team. She helped me think through how to put all this together so I can share this with you. She helped me actually become the person that I am today. And I share this only because I'm not asking you to take one or two ideas. The shift, you can 2x, 3x your business totally easily. But transformations do not happen in isolation. And so if there is a transformative gene desire in you right now, think about who can be that mentor along the way. Because I will tell you that is going to be the catalyst in having linear growth or significantly exponential growth. Because having someone alongside you that can shift your mindset, your heart set, like as Robin Sharma says, your health set and your soul set that much faster, can do wonders and wonders for your life. So, hope that's helpful. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm actually on time. This is great. With Michael up here, anything that I touched on from a Q&A perspective that I can maybe add some more practicality to, give you some more ideas for? So let's do this, right? Let's do 5, box somewhere. Let's do 5 ideas, and Michael will get your guidance around it. 5 things that either you have an idea for, that you're going to implement, or you have a question. It can be anything. Hey, I took this away. It was pretty cool. I think I'm going to install this right now in my business. Or, hey, I have a question on this. Michael Sharon, can you talk about this? What would you, anything, but at least 5. Sir. I'm not going to.
Throw. Well done, Hank. Oh, you got to hold it. It's a mic.
How do you identify the person you want to recruit for your business? I know what you're doing as far as the activity, but how do you really know that's the right person who will do what they'll say they'll do and form part of your team?
Leave it to the smartest person in the room to ask the toughest question. I think that's a tough question. A couple of things. I think there needs to be some kind of framework written down because there's no other way to tick the boxes, right? And so we had a few things. I can't remember. I'll pull it up and I can email it to you if you'd like. It was like a 5-step thing saying, hey, are they open-minded? Are they progressive? And you're just asking very calibrating questions, and you get what you get from a response perspective. And I trust our management team, and if we had 100% acceptance kind of rate, which is everyone had to agree to bring them on board, because if one person didn't agree, it would not be a good fit. So if the manager says they're not, tell us DNA. So sometimes it's a feeling, and that's okay too. But we had something written down. It was, are they technologically savvy? Are they collaborative? We had like 5 questions. I'll pull those and I'll send them to you.
Sharon, the other component of that is back to Teller's DNA. So how are they going to fit?
Right.
And the guys at Cunningham's just recently, it was 3 weeks ago, John? We did the DNA exercise. So what's the Cunningham's DNA? And that came out of our conference over in Singapore. And getting clarity on that means how is that person going to add value to that DNA?
Right.
And can we add value to them?
Right.
So I think this is actually the two-way component, guys. And I spoke about this at ARIC. Making a difference is in front of you, making dollars behind you. So are you actually attracting people who want to make a difference? And clearly, this guy wants to make a difference. Yes, guys? So you get that sense that say, hey, I'm attracted because I want to make a difference, and yes, we're going to make $1. There's no question it's going to be a commercial enterprise, but let's make sure that we're in that mode of making a difference. So the exercise you could do, and by the way, we did this with the Cunningham's leaders, so all the partners, and said, okay, what is our DNA? What do we want to truly protect? Right. And we talk about your organisation is going to change, but what are you not going to let go of? What is it, the foundation part of your business? And then start to look and say, well, how does that fit in? And how does this new person, Hank, actually attract to these particular qualities? Are they going to add value? Are they going to start to build momentum around those?
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah. Can we just throw next?
Right, awesome.
Thank you for the presentation, Sharon. I really appreciate.
Awesome.
You mentioned about the 10 times growth, and there are 3 things. The first thing is attractive characters.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I have the characters. I start having doubt in myself. So how do you define the attractive characters?
So great question. Michael talk about this a little bit, but first I'll tell you right now, you just have to believe that you are the attractive character, right? It is, they come for you. You're the principal. You're the growth leader. You don't have to have the presence on stage. You don't have to be good looking. You don't have to have the gift of the gab. You just have to have the vision and the passion to communicate it. That's all it is, right? And the hardest part around that is actually writing your passion down, saying, hey, I believe in these 4 things. So anytime you talk to somebody, it is, hey, I believe that the world needs to be a better place. I believe in singularity of focus. I believe that this needs to get done. I believe, and your belief can be so infectious, but you have to write it down. And I think you're not giving yourself enough credit. The attractive character is the one that leads with the passion and that takes the responsibility for the growth of the organization. So if you just say, hey, I'm the person taking 100% responsibility for the growth of this organization, you are the attractive character. How would you add to that?
Absolutely. The only other thing I'd say is that you're looking for people who believe what you believe, yeah? So they can see their vision within your vision. So it's the ability to communicate that. I think one of the things that a lot of the time, and you are sharing the vision of Tellers all the time, whereas a lot of the time what I find is a leader shares the vision once and they tick the box and say, I've done that. No, how do you actually keep this going and keep it in the conversation? So the more that we do that, the more congruent we are. The other thing is, don't attempt to be Sharon. Don't attempt to be Sheargold. Attempt to actually be the best version of you. And that's who you're going to attract, yeah? And that's building your DNA. It's not saying, okay, let's actually take the DNA of Tellers and all of a sudden we'll put that into the Melbourne marketplace or the Sydney marketplace or the Toowoomba marketplace and all of a sudden everything will be fixed. It's actually about you really bringing you to the fore. Yeah? And I agree. Yeah. You guys are all, please recognise that I think sometimes we go, oh, okay, I'm not like Sharon, so therefore I can't do that. No. That's not what this is about. Right. This is actually about, there are hints, there are clues. By the way, we can do it faster than Sharon because we've actually got a roadmap. He's given us a roadmap today, guys. Yeah? So this is a powerful thing that we start to take on board. And by the way, it's not about implementing all of it. It's looking at what are the components that work right now, Mark, in your business, that will make the biggest difference.
Cool.
Good? Thank you.
Yeah.
Over to John. Big throw. Well done. Good on you, Sam. Back up. I like your back up.
Thanks, Sharon. Awesome morning. Thank you so much. You talked about good leaders stay in their lanes, and I'm sort of trying to get a picture of exactly how big this lane is.
You go to that side, I'll go to this side. It's a pretty wide.
So, when you've got multiple leaders in a team, which obviously you need to have, and you talked a lot about the different leaders and their touch points within that flow. That lane, how much does it vary, and when do you switch lanes? I'm just fascinated with how narrow I can get my lane down.
Yeah, so we had...
I think Megan knows what I'm talking about.
Let me offer this to you. I think you're spot on. I think I'll give you the perspective of what we had because we got some pain around it because we crisscrossed lanes often and it irritated people because it irritated people. So John, the first thing was to just define it. So they call my lane GCI, so it was growth, culture, and innovation. And if it was not GCI, I had no right to touch it. And that was number one. Number two, we had this acronym, which we called NIHO, N-I-H-O, nose in, hands off. I can smell Michael's lane all day long, but I can't touch. Right? So as a leader, you can ask a lot of questions.
Ni hao?
Yeah, ni hao. Ni hao. You can ask a lot of questions, but you can't touch. But if you want to touch, so all our conversations, if I was jumping in your lane, John, I could only do it in a group setting. I could be like, John, I have a couple of questions. I'm really passionate about this project. I know this is your lane. Could we collaborate on this? And it was so respectful. Otherwise, a lot of times we would do one-on-one conversations, and the rest of the team wouldn't know that we're crossing lanes. And then I would get random text messages saying, dude, you're totally in John's lane. And so, but if you did it in a group setting, that helped. So we kept, so you, in a group text thread, I'd ask a question saying, hey, why haven't we gotten back to Michael? Why did his onboarding break? And 4 people will say, ni hao, ni hao, ni hao, ni hao, right? I was like, hey, I'm just asking. I'm not jumping in the lane. And they said, well, rephrase your question. So it got to the point where we got a lot more respectful about people. And the other thing that we found, and Michael, I'd love for your thoughts on this, is once you give someone deep ownership of their lane, John, for some reason they just build this immense expertise in that lane. They wake up and they think about it every single day. So they just get deeply better at it. And they're better at us at it because they're waking up and thinking about it every day. So it's almost I'd offer the ni hao as the process around it.
Perfectly answered. Thank you.
Awesome.
That was brilliant. Who's next?
Yeah. Sabrina.
Thanks so much, Sharon. I got a lot from this morning's session. I have a question just regards to onboarding and bringing agents on from other brands.
Yeah.
For example, some agents who've been in industry for a long time, they're pretty much stuck in their own ways. And
yeah.
How do you actually transition on to do your style listing presentation where they've already done what they've been doing for a long time? Yeah. They've been very successful in doing that.
Yeah.
Do you have a team of people that actually go through the training process, and how does that work?
Yeah, great question. So I'll tell you exactly how our onboarding process worked. We had 2 parts of onboarding. So for operations folks, like this is really easy, right? So onboarding would actually get people set up so that they were ready to go. And then we had a team called Ramp Up. Ramp Up, the team's job was to make sure we realized we interviewed our top 10 agents, and we said, what are the 10 things you believe gives you the immense advantage of being a TELUS agent? The 10 things. We took it from them. And the job for Ramp Up, Michael, was to make sure every new agent got those 10 things installed in their business.
Awesome.
It was not what I thought was important. It was what our top 10 agents thought was important. And we took those. And it was super easy, Sabrina, where we'd say, our top 10 agents believe that these are the critical factors that help agents coming on succeed under the TELUS umbrella. We want to make sure we give you the roadmap to doing that. And whatever it takes, here's the person that will help you do that, right? It's very hard to force somebody to switch what they're doing, but I think introducing what works for others starts to help that process.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
I think the other point there, Sharon, is creating a compellingness to say, hey, here's a better way.
Right.
And being open to say, and you're incredibly open to, is there a better way? And let me explore this, let me have a look at this, let me go to the next level. So I think that's an incredibly important part. If the better way, if the new way is not a better way, it's going to be really hard for someone to change.
Right.
But there's some components there, and the reason why when you said how many have you sit down first,
Yeah.
we coach that into these guys.
Oh, gotcha.
So like they're not putting their hands up. Come
Yeah.
on. So
That's good, thank you.
Yeah, great. So it is sitting down first, and let's actually get into strategy before we actually do the tour up front. The other thing I'd love us to have a conversation about is Kingston Lane. This is your new venture, and a lot of people have been asking, so what's Kingston Lane and how does it work and so on.
Yeah.
Could you spend some time
Sure.
just talking through
Yeah,
that?
I'll do super high level. Yeah,
Yep.
super high level. Thank you. So after we sold our business, about 100 days ago, we launched a technology platform called Kingston Lane. And we launched it 100 days ago in the US. It's in the US and Canada markets. It's for agents. It's to help agents automate sales and marketing. And it's all the complex marketing functions. So I'll give you a very simple example, which is, hey, you want to do Facebook advertising for your listing. You have a new listing, your vendors agree to pay $100 to market your listing, but now you've got to go figure out, how do I build a property website for my listing? How do I actually build a Facebook audience around it? How do I build the ad? Where do I send them to a landing page? If they click through, what are my leads going to do? You're thinking that right now, aren't you? Wouldn't it be amazing if you could say, I want to spend $100, I want to spend it on my new listing, go. And we do the rest. Right? So everything that we've built is built in that 3-step format where you can click 3 buttons and have a result. And It's had a lot. We've had a lot of success, and the best part is there's no contracts, no commitments, so you don't have to spend $5,000 a month or anything like that. What we call is you can test and invest. So you can test something and you can invest. So you can test $100 and you can invest. Where's Alex? Like we've been testing with Alex in New Zealand, and you have what, 65 leads in the 4 days? 65 leads in 4 days, right? Which is cool, but which is kind of fun. But I was like, dude, you got 65 leads in 4 days. What do you do? It's a different process because now that is a different lead. However, if you do it around a listing, you have buyers around it, and you can use that as a thought process to go get more listings. So let me tell you how you would do that, right? You get a new listing. You would do a $100 ad. Click, click, go, right? $100. Say you got 14 buyer inquiries. Now you have another listing appointment. You would go to the listing appointment, and you would open Kingston Lane, and you would say, this listing on 123 Main Street, we did this, and we got 14 buyer inquiries. This is very similar. Even before we list this home, we can go directly to these 14 buyers. Now imagine you do that 4 times, you have a really good buyer activation, which was the third component of what I talked about. Now your activation gets really fun, right? So how we built it was not just a tool for you, but a tool in the living room. When you can start to actually take a tool in the living room, you start to win so much more. So if you're a principal, I'll offer this to you as Michael told me just give it to you. So I'll offer this to you. Grab your business card, and if you want a demo, just write demo on it, and just like, when you find me, just give it to me. I'll do a private demo with you, and I'll walk you through it. I'll see whether it's the right fit for you. It is not expensive because we're all over the world, and we make money on the ad spend, so it's not an expensive platform at all. You can actually sign up for free. But I want to give you an enterprise principal broker version of it. But let me do a demo for you. I'd be very happy to do that as a gift. So just write demo on a card, hand it to me, and I'll set up a time to do a demo with you and walk your team through it. Is that cool?
So the other thing we could do is a webinar.
Yeah, we'll just do a webinar for everybody.
And invite you guys along so you can actually get a real sense of it.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yep. That would be amazing. So we have a few people in the room already. Thank you for beta testing with us. I was telling Michael this. It is working better here than in the States. So don't tell anybody that. So It's awesome. I'm really excited about that.
But I think the important point is, and I know you're doing some work with Alex on this, around not only taking those leads, because that's an important lead flow, guys. It's almost a passive lead flow. How do you get to those particular people early in the process? And we're both on the same page.
Yeah.
How do you take competitors out? And what was the line you used yesterday?
Taking them off the market.
Taking them off the market, yeah. Love it, love it, love it. So we take them off the market. They're not going to sell for another 6 months, but they're off the market. They're actually part of us. And how do you make sure you've got a value proposition in that communication that delivers that?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So grab your business card, just write demo on it, and then when you find me, just give it to me and I'll set it up. And we'll do a webinar with Michael anyway. Cool. Is that one more? Close it off. One takeaway, one thing that you're going to use. One thing you're going to put in your business right away. Claudia? I'm just joking. Megan.
Here we go.
When am I coming back? I come back. It's either you're coming to Laguna Beach or Michael's going to invite me back at some point in the next...
We've talked about last night and yesterday, and we're spending a day on Thursday strategizing how we can actually work together more effectively. Move to New Zealand. And one of the things that we spoke about is maybe doing a study tour over to the US and with Sharon and some other great people that we know over there. That would be awesome to do that. So is that something that you guys would have an interest in? Yeah? Study tour? Yeah, there might be a couple of study tours just looking at those hands. But that would be cool.
Awesome.
Would it?
Yeah, happy to do it.
Yeah. Let's give Sharon an absolutely huge round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sharon, your contribution to Business of Real Estate 2018 has been absolutely stunning. It really has. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I love it when I'm writing like crazy down the back. And by the way, I know a lot of you have heard me say this. I've been really challenging agents in the Australian and New Zealand market. Have you got a 2015 listing appointment, or have you got a 2020 listing appointment?
Good.
And I think what you've done is really give some clarity and some insights as to what I think your agents and your team could have in terms of a 2020 listing. And no longer is it okay being okay.
Right.
You know, we both spoke about this last night. How do you actually have someone have a standing ovation at the end of a
Right.
listing appointment? That was the most incredible experience I've actually had in dealing with a true property professional. And I think it's as simple as that is, it's incredibly powerful. So thank you
Awesome. Yeah.
for everything that you've actually done for these amazing individuals here right now. Round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.